rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me, turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such a tease, bitten lips, bruised knees. I'm addicted to her, need her touching me, cause she got a bad little waist. And we tearing down this place, off the liquor that we chase. Got some egos to the face, baby I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on a tight frame. All game, no shame.
What is going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. It's hump day. What? So welcome, everybody. Side chat's popping already. So we got Tiger here. We've got Celtfire, the lovely Miss Celtfire. We got Droop. He's all right. SJ Bagger, another former Jersey guy. Frank, we were just talking about you, Frank, in the side chat here. Toby's here. So I am thrilled, and this has been a long time coming, to have Hudson Motovisuals with us. Another New Jersey guy.
Oh, yeah, New Jersey in the house.
How you doing?
Doing great.
What exit?
All
the way up.
Which one?
Yeah.
Is it the Turnpike or you want the Parkway? I don't know.
Well, thank you. I know we've been trying to make this work and we've run into it, but
yeah,
I'm loving it, man. I'm glad you had a chance to come on and we could sit down and talk.
Yeah,
so, flying right, man. All of New Jersey's here.
He's here, yeah.
That's
of course, I text them all. You better be on.
That's fair. I mean, if not, nobody shows up, so it's all right. Flying Ride's the man. He's got a sweet bike too. We have the same pipes on our bike. It's a jerk. Come on, Denver. See, these guys are assholes. Look here, Schnooky.
Oh yeah.
You know why Denver's so mad? He lives in Seattle. He's pissed off all the time. It's disrespect. So yeah, let's get into it. So let's start where I like to always start. Tell us about your channel, about you, and let's go from there.
All right, my channel is mostly about riding, like, and lifestyle of a biker. Most of it I really, I just wanted to share a lot of places where I went on a motorcycle. I mean, I've been doing it for 10 years now, riding for 10 years.
Okay.
I've gotten to go so many places. And, I just wanted to capture that for people, get them out on a motorcycle too, or get to come with me, even in the car. It doesn't even matter. I mean, just in New Jersey, you have like High Point, you have the Hawks Nest, you have Cape May, you got the whole of Jersey Shore. You could get lost down there. And even in the Pine Barrens, everything is just so beautiful. And I just wanted to show people like it's an awesome thing, awesome hobby to have. It's an expensive hobby too, but on two wheels, you just feel a little freer, and you feel, you could, ride anywhere. And I just wanted to show that to people.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I do a lot of photography too. Not as lately, a little bit, I haven't been using the camera much, but that's how I started. So,
nice.
Yeah.
So you've been riding for 10 years. What got you on two wheels?
Well, I've always had a inkling to do it, but it never amounted to anything, especially in high school. I went through college, and then I'm gonna tell you the truth. I was working for FedEx at the time, and two of my buddies that I worked with, I still ride with them now, named Sean and Tom. Tom doesn't ride too much anymore, but Sean does still. And I saw them just pull into the bay with their motorcycles. Just pulled right in. Sean had I think a Fat Bob. No, it was a Fat Boy. I don't know, one of the two.
Okay.
And he just pulled right in, and Tom had a Deuce. Pulled in right behind him. We all worked the evening shift. I actually went back to school, and I was like, "You can do that?" They're like, "No, but we do it anyway every day," because they didn't want the bike outside. So, and then I had a
rules don't apply if you have a motorcycle.
Yeah. And then I had a manager, AJ. He did the same thing. He had a nice. What was the one? It was on the Softail platform before. It looked like a Street Glide, but it wasn't. I forgot which one.
Switchback?
Yeah, the switchback. He had a switchback, and he would pull in, and I wouldn't ask him. He's the manager, so he didn't care. So, and then and it just, I said to myself, "Oh, I want to get back in. Oh, I want to try it," and I took the course. Next thing you know, I graduated college, and then I couldn't park in the bay because I left already. So,
that's funny. So where did you took the class? What was the first bike you owned?
So I got my license in end of 2012. It was one of the last classes, and I didn't to tell you the truth, I didn't get a bike until a whole year. I was debating on a Sportster, which is the older ones, because it's just a start that was fairly new, or just get a new one. And I got a Yamaha Bolt, actually. I started on that.
Okay.
So it was I think it was a 14. I got at the end of 13, they were coming in. I had a black. It was just a basic one. It was black.
What's the displacement on those?
I think it was 960, if I'm not mistaken, or 950.
Okay, so you're still in that lower, higher Sportster range. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just, I guess I don't know if I got a good deal. I mean, I got it out the door. I got a pretty good deal, so I just went with that. I wanted a newer bike. I know a lot of people were saying, "Oh, I should have just learned on a," but I mean, if you take it serious enough, you are gonna fall. You just have to put that in your head. But I took it serious enough that I did practice every day. I've tried to ride it every day. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, to work and back home, and that's it. And get lost.
So how long was it, you think, before you got hooked? I mean, was it immediate? Was it something you sort of grew into?
I think it was immediate. It was just to tell you the truth, the first ride I brought it home, I had my cousin follow me. And he doesn't know anything about motorcycles because he actually, I don't know if you know, in northern New Jersey, a Motorcycle Mall, that place.
Yes.
That's where I bought it. And he lives in a town next to there. So I first rode it there just to show him. And I was like, I was a little nervous. I had to take a highway home. So I was like, can you follow me? Just stay behind me. I think once I got on the highway, I was hooked already. I got hooked because, first off, the jacket that I had, I think the zippers just came undone. So now it's just flapping in the wind. To tell you the truth, I forgot to strap my helmet. I was so nervous. Strap my helmet, but it just felt, I don't know, felt natural after a while. I could do this all day. So it was kind of instant.
That's awesome. So how long did you have that bike?
I had that for 2 years.
Okay.
And then I upgraded to Heritage, 2015 Heritage.
That's a nice bike. It's
yeah,
a really nice bike.
Yeah, it was a used one. It didn't have that many miles, so I actually got it at Bergen Harley.
Okay, I've been there.
Yeah, I mean
that's way up. Well, you're way up too.
Yeah. That's about 20 minutes away from me. Yeah, but I learned a lot on that one. I think, to tell you the truth, if I wanted to go to the Softail, I'd probably get that one again. It just felt lower, lighter, easier to maneuver. I'm not saying the Road Glide, it's a little heavy. Yeah, it was heavy at first, but that I put, I think in that matter, when was that? 250? It was 2016 to when I got the Road Glide in 2020. I think I almost put 30,000 miles on it.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
and how did you find the transition from that to the Bolt? I mean, was there a pretty big learning curve? Because I know when I went from metric to Harley, the turn signals is what got me. I was like, that was the turn signal.
Yeah. I was only making left turns the whole time. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. It did get taken used to. It felt you could feel the weight, but it was lower.
Mm-hmm.
But once you got it going, it felt a little more solid on the highway, especially with the protection.
Sure. Because the Bolt was pretty much naked, right? Windscreen.
There was no fairing. It's just straight up wind in your face, which I didn't mind. So
Interesting. So then you had that for how long?
which one? The Heritage?
The Heritage.
From 16 to 2020. Actually,
Okay.
so funny stories. I was riding around in the winter with my brother-in-law. He has a Vulcan, and so we were out one day, and we were like Northwest New Jersey. It was a little cool, but it was nice out in the winter. And I don't know why we stopped at Dunkin' Donuts, and the battery didn't kick over. So we were like, oh no.
You can't mention Dunkin' Donuts. The side chat's going to just ream me if you do that.
God,
So you stopped, the battery died.
the battery died, and luckily a gentleman came over, and then he jump started with his car. I mean, he goes, it's not ideal, but I could just get you started, and then so nothing blew. So that afternoon, I actually went down to Bergen Harley. I was like, you know what, I'm going to pick up the battery now, or get them to change it, or just buy it, and I'll do it in the parking lot. They don't really care too much. And next thing you know, I'm signing paperwork for a road glide. I see it in the showroom floor, and I'm just like, and it was the guy that I bought my Heritage from, and I was just like, hey, his name was Ralph. I was like, hey, Ralph, what's going on? And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just me. For me, I'm like a sucker for like customer service. He remembered my name. Maybe he even looked it up before I walked in. I don't know, but he does. He still texts me once in a while. He doesn't work there anymore, but he'll be like, let's go on a ride, do this. But he just he just took the time and was like being honest. And it's like, yeah, we could get you a good price on that. And then if you want to, take this out, and then they let me test ride it. And that was a bad mistake. And then next thing you know, I'm a picture in front of, in front of Bergen Harley with a new bike.
I think once you ring that bell and you realize you've probably made really poor life choices.
Yes. And yes, there are only Dunkin' Donuts in New Jersey.
Yeah, don't hate.
In the 5 square miles around me, I think there's at least 4.
Man,
I could walk to each one of them by me.
The greatest part of my new job is at the end of our office, there's an intersection. There's literally a Dunkin' Donuts on the next corner. I'm like, see, I've arrived.
Yeah.
I can walk to Dunkin' Donuts.
I know. That's the best part.
That's awesome. See, so you go in, you see the Road Glide. Was that something you had considered, or was that a little bit of an impulse purchase?
No. Yes and no. It was an impulse thing, just because they gave me a good price on the Heritage. Because the Heritage, I paid that off in 2 years.
Okay.
And that was just like, I didn't want a payment over my head. And then once I was done with it, then they just gave me such a good deal. They almost matched what I almost bought it for. So how can I turn around and not, But the Road Glide was the unicorn I was chasing, to tell you the truth. That's what I wanted to end up on. Because I remember seeing when I was riding the Bolt, when I was riding with a couple of my buddies, I saw a gentleman on one. I said, "Oh, what is that?" Like I never, I didn't even, I knew about Harley. Always to me, when I looked at a Harley, it was always a Heritage or like the Deluxe. That's what it looked like to me, a Harley. But I never seen like their touring model. So, and then once I saw it, I was like, "Oh, I got to have one of those." It's got a radio. I want that. Simple things in life.
So I'm sorry, I lost track of your timeline. So when you saw that, and that kind of got you sparked your interest?
Right before COVID, 2020.
Okay.
Right before COVID. It was February of 20. It was actually my birthday month.
Nice.
So I justified it to my wife that it was my birthday. Well, she didn't actually know probably until a couple months later, because she's like, wasn't your bike silver? It was. Why is it red now? Well,
I buffed it out.
Yeah.
It's, things happen.
Yeah. So
where I was going with that is how long did you see that as the bike you wanted? Was it a long-term thing, or was it just you walked in and saw it, or?
I literally just walked in and I wanted it.
I love it.
Like I said, it was kind of an impulse thing. I could have waited a couple more, saved a little more and not have my thing was also too is like, I know it's an impulse buy, but if you got the number right, I'll take it from you.
Sure.
That's what it came down to. And then what got me more nervous was at the time I started in New York, a new job like before COVID, and then when COVID hit, I understand I'm in the hospital, but I was just like, oh no, did I make a wrong purchase in COVID and they're laying people off? But obviously, knock on wood, they never laid me off.
And that area got hit hard, didn't it?
We definitely did. Yeah. So
what were your initial thoughts from the Heritage? Now you have a limited or a special? I can't remember.
special.
I'm sorry.
Special.
So how was that driving out of the showroom?
A little heavy.
Mhm.
They actually, one gentleman was like, put up the kickstand because you're so excited. I put the kickstand down. Like,
Done that.
Yeah, it's like pull up the kickstand before you break it off and have to come back around. So, but yeah, at first the weight was a little intimidating. I'm only 5'7".
Okay.
And even before with the stock Harley shocks, I could flat foot on one side, definitely firm.
Mhm.
But like if I just put then that's like obviously on one side, but it's almost tippy toeing when I had my 2 feet down. So,
Awesome.
but I've gotten used to the weight of it and stuff like that.
Have you put any? What sort of mods have you done to it?
So obviously all the lighting they use, Zero 3D, like the side markers. I did change the handlebars, their T-bars to Thrash and Supply. I got a Lucky Dave seat, Olin shocks. What else? In the engine work is a 475 cam.
That has a really nice lope to it. That
Oh yeah,
475.
yeah. When it's warmed up, it sounds real nice.
Oh, that's right. You went to get lowered and got your
Yeah.
stuff done. That's right.
Yeah. Mike could get lowered, man. They treat me right over there, so
Because that's a haul. That's what, 3 hours?
No, for me, it's if you to tell you the truth, so this is how sometimes being cheap. So I actually hauled my bike over there, and so what happened was my Easy Pass for my car was like misplaced. It was stolen, and like for a couple days, like I went through the Easy Pass, and they kept on selling me bills. I was just like, forget it. I'm not going to pay the toll and pay $50. Like I kept on arguing with them. It was like, I told you I misplaced it. Well, you got to wait for the new one. Long story short, I went the local way. Even the local way was an hour and a half.
Okay.
So it wasn't bad. Hour and a half. If you take the highways, probably hour and 15. It's well worth the trek for me. Just because.
Yeah, and it's funny. And we've talked about it. It's not that far from me, and I've never been there.
Yeah. If you ever get to go there, even if you just message him on like Instagram out of the blue, he's there 24/7. He does most of the like engine work, customizing work at night, but most of the day he's tied up with like online sales. So if you go there towards the end of the day, he'll show you around if you just ask. Yeah. He's an awesome person like that. Him and his wife run that, and I know his father's one of the mechanics. They're just it's a family owned. Got some cool bikes in there too. As he's built.
Because I remember now, yeah, because your bike was on their social media for a while.
Yeah. A couple of guys that I live around here go to him. So
okay.
Yeah. I mean, he does good work. I mean, I can't complain. Like I said, for me, it's always that if I have a rapport with you, you treat me right, I'll always come back. It's simple. Like the guy at the Dunkin' Donuts by me, I don't even wait online. I don't even have to use the app. I just walk in, he sees me, it's made, I go leave. Come on now, guys. You're hating on Dunkin' Donuts, but don't.
I had a job years back, and me and my coworker would always go to Dunkin' Donuts at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon or whatever. And you'd come in, and the coffees would be sitting there at the counter because they knew that's when we were coming in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's pretty funny.
It's always the best part.
So when did you start your channel?
I started it, I think April of 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, it was right around Easter. I actually started it. I went on a ride with Barber CVO and Marvel Kid. We all went to Hawk's Nest, and and I met my other riding buddy, Old School Jerry. And yeah.
Oh, he's with Marvel Kid all the time.
Yeah,
Is that what I'm thinking of? Yeah.
Yeah, Jerry and yeah. I mean, I met them, and I know I was talking to him about it, and next thing you know, I was like, give it a shot. I didn't. I've been just doing it part time as I go. I mean, I can't really complain.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's a good outlet. That's awesome. So, was that? When was the first time you've been to the Hawk's Nest?
That was the first time, probably. So that was probably beginning of April, and then I started right after.
Okay. So, for those of you that don't know where the Hawk's Nest is, that is in the northern Delaware River Gap, right? I've been there. I'm trying to think geographically.
Yeah.
And if you've seen, it's probably one of the most photographed, at least, places in that area for ads for cars and everything. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
what's that?
There's a little monument too. If you ever go up there again, it's funny because it's like behind a cemetery. It's like we're all Pennsylvania, New York, and New Jersey touch. There's it's like a 2-foot statue. It's like, oh, this is where all they touch, and you can stand on it and stuff and take pictures.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right before it. It's like it's weird because you take a road, you end up in a cemetery, and the next thing you know, you're right by the river where it says New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania meet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what was your impression of the Hawk's Nest? Because I've been there on 3 different bikes now, and I felt that it was really cool the first time, but then you realize how actual small it is.
Yeah, it's not even a long road. I actually like to, if you start in, where's that Harley dealer? That is it, Williams Harley in Jersey, and you go towards Pennsylvania. I like starting from there, then going all the way up.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's more fun because you're along in the river on the Pennsylvania side. I do it. There's little twisty roads there, but I mean, most of it's just nice scenery.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes if you go past New Hope, and then you can, if you want to still keep going, then go all the way to the Hawk's Nest. But by the time I get to the Hawk's Nest, you've done all your riding. It's real quick, and then you just jet home.
Mm-hmm.
So
we found that the past the Hawk's Nest into New York State, where and I don't know where we ended up, but actually, you know what? Is it Port Jarvis that's before that or after? I think Port Jarvis is before.
Yeah, Port Jarvis is before.
We went up during the summer, and we just rode through New York State. It was amazing.
Oh yeah, New York State is just
absolutely
nice
gorgeous.
Yeah,
and there was up there. Yeah, we went up. There was eagles flying. It was really a cool experience.
Yeah. Western New York is really nice. Yeah, if you go up to the Catskills too, if you go around like the Catskills, that's nice too.
It's a really nice area up there.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys you have time. Well, I mean, even if you didn't have time, you could just shoot up the throughway, even though it's not ideal. But it's for me. Well, yeah, it's probably longer for you. But for me, going up to the Catskills, even by there, I want to say maybe 2 hours to get there, and then once you do the whole loop and everything, usually the fall time is a nice time to go up there when the leaves change.
The Catskills, the Adirondacks down through the Catskills is a fantastic ride.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, Finger Lakes too.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice area too. couple of my people buddies that I work with. He's recently married. He got his family owns like a house by the Fingers Lakes. He goes up there. He's like, "Oh, it's awesome." I try to get him to ride a bike, but his wife won't let him. You know, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it happens. That's it's one of those things. So you're from Jersey, so we're all gonna get shit for this, but let's go with it.
Yeah.
Where's your go-to place to ride in Jersey? I mean, do you have a place that you tend to gravitate towards, or has there been several places?
Probably going west to like Sparta area.
Okay.
I know a couple people that live over there. I mean, it's nice there. I usually go there if anything. Or that's the thing. I live right by the border of New York. You go up to New York too. So
yeah, I mean, at that point, you might as well just go.
Yeah, at that point, it's not that far for me. But if it's just Jersey, I usually go like west, like northwest, by like Sparta.
Okay.
You know, I mean some of the guys that live south, like Fly and Ride, you know, they're always harping on us. Oh, I always got to go there. Come down south. I said, I always come down there by you guys, you know, but sometimes it's just me coming to ride with them.
Yeah. And we were talking about before the pre-show, we had a chance to meet briefly at the Baggers and Brews ride, which was a good time for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Minus the 119 degrees weather, but
you know, my goodness, that was hot that day. I was about to just ride in shorts.
Yeah.
it was really bad.
Because I think we were talking about that. We bailed at lunchtime and it was brutal.
Yeah. We bailed before that. I think it was the second or third stop we bailed. Just for the fact I think we went towards the shore. We went to towards Seaside and stuff. I think we ate somewhere around there.
Okay.
So
they put a fantastic job. They did a fantastic job putting that ride together. I felt bad that the weather was so bad, but it was so much fun.
Yeah, it was good. It was a fun time. Just even riding down there, I mean, not to be late. We should have just rode the Parkway to get to you guys, but I mean, you know, cutting through the Pine Barrens is nice. I know it's just straight road, but it's just something about it, you know.
I find the Pine Barrens, and Katie, my wife, will say that I like PA in the summertime, but I like the Pine Barrens in the winter because I feel like if you're riding the pines in the summer, there's no cover.
No.
There's not a lot of shade, but man, some of those roads are just great because you feel like you're the only person on those roads.
Yeah.
So what I'm curious, so your Hudson Motovisuals, let's talk about the visual side of that.
All right.
What made you decide what made you decide to go with that name for your channel?
Well, like I said, I had before even all of this, I had a kind of a background in photography.
Mm-hmm.
I never did. I mean, I've always done parties and some portraits. I've never really taken it too seriously because I just like to do a lot of street stuff,
mm-hmm.
you know, and I chose it because I remember when I was on the Heritage, I have it's still up, the website. I started to revamp it a little bit. I started I took my motorcycle and went to each town in Hudson County first. I had an idea of just taking street photography of each town in Hudson County, then move to Bergen County, then move to as I go. And I only reached as Hudson County because after that, I think it's like I said, a lot of things stopped because of COVID. But
mm-hmm.
I started photographing that, and when I had the inkling that I wanted to do this, I said to myself, I want photography to be part of it. Now, a lot of people were saying, what is it going to be? Was motorcycles or photography? I'm just like, well, I just incorporate it when I want to. And like I said, I just wanted to show people where all these awesome places is, even if it's in the middle of a city, Like I could tell you so many places like downtown Jersey City, everyone would enjoy. I mean, even if you didn't like the city life, there's so many places down there to enjoy, to see. You're right by the water, stuff like that.
And that waterfront area's got built up. I
Oh yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
at a party years ago with a girl I was dating. Did her brother was a doctor, and he had an apartment or condo that looked right over the river.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I don't even want to know what this place costs, but damn, it's a nice view.
Yeah. Well, if he kept it till now, he'd be even richer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I know one of my cousins owned property down there, and he's holding on to dear life. Like, a lot of people try to buy it, but it's a premium. It really is.
Yeah, it's crazy what property in Jersey goes for.
Yeah. Just because you're right outside the New York City.
Yeah. We've been down here. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. Like, I mean, I was thinking about moving either west or south, and I'll deal with the commute coming up to New York City. But even then, I'm like, I can afford that.
Yeah.
Well,
the problem with the market here is we bought our house 4 years ago. Let's call it 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It went up 150 grand in 4 years. Like, who can afford that? That's insane.
I know. That's funny. That's crazy too.
I mean, we were talking the other night. It's like, had we not bought our house, we never would have been able to afford it. Not now. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm apartment living right now.
Yeah. Not a bad deal.
No.
I mean, if it works for you, it works for you.
Yeah, just save the nest egg, and one day maybe find something that we like. So we'll figure it out. I'm not worried about it. If not, I'll live on the motorcycle. I got some tents, it doesn't matter.
Be a vagabond. I mean, that would blow up your channel for sure.
Yeah, and I'll be divorced probably too, but it is.
All I'm hearing is more ride time.
Yeah.
She might not even realize you got divorced. She didn't realize you changed bikes. I mean, it's just something to think about.
Yeah, true.
So when did you get into photography?
I was actually out of high school. I remember one of my teachers. I don't know. I think it was my junior year. I just needed to fill a class. And I was like, I want to, and I told my guidance counselor, I wasn't the greatest student. She knew what I liked. She knew I wasn't, going to be freaking the president of the United States. So it's like, why don't you try photography? I said, okay, I'll try it out. I mean, and the actual teacher is a good friend of mine still. So, we started out with I remember picking up my mother's camera and just starting with black and white film and teaching us how to do the dark room, make the negatives, then, how to put it on the photographic paper, all that, all that stuff. That, and they let you out if you had, if you're on good behavior, they let you out on the property or go towards the town, and, at least they let me out,
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be said. Do you remember? I mean, I'm a photography nerd, but do you remember what your mom's camera was that you started with?
Don't remember. All I remember was asking her that I need to buy black and white film. Does that take the black and white? She's like, yeah, it takes color and black and white. It was just like almost like it didn't have a zoom. It didn't have anything. It was just, I think it was 35 mil, and that's it. It was like one of those basic cameras. But my teacher was just like, move your feet then. You don't need a zoom. You don't need this big zoom. Just move your feet, get closer, and till this day I use a lot of primes. I don't use I do the zoom thing when I have to, like I'm in big crowds and you want to try to get closer. You can't. But like if I'm just out on the street, it's either a 35 or a 50 millimeter.
I use the zoom primarily for the channel, but yeah, I've got a small collection of primes. When I was shooting professionally, I had a ton of them because, like you said, I think the challenge is so much greater.
Yeah, it makes you think a little more, and you start to, tend to look in the frame a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
Just taking pictures of people. I could see myself now, like if my wife takes something or my friends take a picture, like, man, you cut off his hand. Why would you do that? Like, just take a step back. Like, oh, you want me to zoom out? No. Then they have no clue what I'm talking about. What are you talking about? I'm taking the picture with your phone. Like, I understand that, but get everyone in the frame. I always tell them waist up or chest up. That's what you get.
Mhm.
Don't and if you're gonna go full body, step back.
So what did you graduate to? What do you shoot with now?
I have a Sony A7 III.
Oh, we're gonna have to end this conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, you're one of those guys.
Yeah. I actually, the first like real camera I started to use professionally was a Canon 60D. It was a APS-C.
Mhm.
And then I went to I tried Fuji for a while.
Okay.
And I liked Fuji. I like the colors of Fuji and the Canon. But I feel like with the Sony, you shoot in RAW and you just keep it, plain Jane. And I could do any colors with it, so it doesn't matter. I mean, you could do that with any camera, but I gravitated to Sony just, I don't know why. So I wanted to try it out, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I mean,
full frame. I never had a full frame.
Oh, that's a game changer. I mean, once you go to that, it's just like forget.
It's totally different. I remember even shooting from the Fuji to the Sony. I was just like, wait a second, why does it look? You start thinking, you're like, wait a second, that doesn't look right. And you're so used to I was so used to the Fuji. I had that the longest. When I think it was XT2 when that came out, until I just recently sold it about a month ago.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So what's your optical arsenal look like? You said you shoot a lot of primes.
Yeah. So I have I use a lot of Sigma because it was obviously for me. I felt like Sigma was the it's comparable to like Sony's line, and Canon's line, and it's cheaper too, and like they hold the value too. So right now I have a 24-70 as a zoom Sigma. I have a 35 art lens, a 24 art lens.
Okay.
And I was gonna get the 85, but I was like, nah, it's too much money after a while. So I just have those three now. I had a super wide angle one. I think it was a 12-24. I actually sold that also with my Fuji because I barely use it, and at 12 millimeter it just looked too distorted for me. I just didn't like the way it looked. So, but I mean, I got value for that too. Like you said, it's in the system, camera, the lenses. You can make your money back on that.
It's amazing to me what even some of like the older Nikon glass is going for.
Oh yeah, my good friend Jose, he actually rides. He has a 2020 Royal Enfield. You'll see him on my channel. Because he started riding about a year ago, but he does have like nice Nikon stuff, and he just holds on to it. And like people's offered him so much money for like the old Nikon glass, and he goes, you know how much I paid for this, and many years ago, you're like almost doubling the price.
Yeah,
crazy.
I had a Nikon manual focus 51.2. I could kick myself for selling that lens. That lens was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I can remember. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I'm saying it's hard to hold on to it, especially if you don't use it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the value of it, but if you're not using it, I feel like it's a paperweight. If you use it a lot, okay, I get it. But thinking about it now, when you think about like those old lenses, you're like, oh, geez, I should have held on to it and then sold them now.
Yeah, it's like you said, the bodies depreciate so fast, but the glass. That's why I went to the RF system, because I'm like, you know what? It's the newest system. It's going to be around till I'm dead. I might as well just
you might as well
suck it up.
Yeah, it takes them a while to get new bodies come out every couple years, but the lenses they stay the same.
Yeah. So what equipment are you using for your channel?
So to tell you the truth, I keep it basic. I use a 360. That's when I'm riding, and I use just the GoPro, the vlog. I do have an A7C that I bought, and that was kind of an impulse thing. So
I'm seeing a theme here. Okay.
yeah, it was kind of an impulse thing. And then I got the new, like, I just wanted the power zoom lens. The thing was, and I just got it as a deal, and I was just like, all right, I'll take it. But I basically just shoot everything on a GoPro 10.
Nice.
Like my vlogs and everything, and I like it too. It's just I plug it in while it's charging, it sends it. I paid extra for like the GoPro storage, like on like the cloud, uploads to the cloud, then I just download it to the computer, and it's at first a lot of people were saying like when you download it the quality isn't great, but I guess GoPro, I mean, it looks fine to me. I mean, I don't and it shoots in 4K. If you lose resolution, it's all right. I export in 180 anyway. 1080.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like I feel like it's always I remember one time we went to Americade, and I brought everything with me. I was miserable. I had the camera to take photos. I did take photos, and then like try to vlog with it. I'm just like, I can't. I just got to keep it simple. What did I say? Kiss, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, and it's amazing too. Like you said, we did our 13-day trip. The GoPros were the only thing that came out. I think I had a Canon M50 at the time, and I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. It's like now it's just a GoPro.
Yeah,
it's all good.
GoPro. Yeah. It's good enough, right? It's good enough on social media anyway.
Well, especially if you dig into your analytics and you looked at like most people are watching it on their phone. You're like, I just spent $3,000 on a piece of glass, and people are watching it on a phone this big.
I mean, the iPhones, they're amazing. I switched I had a Google phone before, and then I went to iPhone just for the fact that my whole family has iPhone, and they keep on hating me on the green bubble. But anyway. But the Google phone, even the new iPhones, they're amazing too. Sometimes you wonder why do I even have a camera? Why didn't I just sell it? But it's something about it. Like, especially when you're asked to do like professional things, you just don't want to be like, hey, I have a, you come to a party and they ask you to photography their party, and you're like, hey, what do you call it? Yeah, I just have an iPhone. Oh yeah, when I scared Jersey Bagger, he didn't have a clue. I was trying to explain to him what I was trying to do, like to sync the audio. So when I have like the GoPro running, and obviously the 360 running, make a loud noise so you could sync the audio. He jumped that was the funniest thing. He goes, I don't even know what you're talking about, but why are you doing that? Why are you? I'm like, don't worry about it. He's actually bugging me to help him. Like he's trying to learn Final Cut Pro. So
good luck with that.
Yeah. I said I go to him. I know you because he's a Apple person. So I said you could still get Premiere Pro on there. Oh, definitely, yeah. Clap test is the best. I mean, that's the only way to get audio.
So what do you edit with?
Premiere Pro.
My man, there you go.
Yeah. For a while, I tried to do. I have I'm starting to get used to it. The app version of it. I forgot what it's called, but I get like traveling on now, and I just bring my iPad, and it becomes easier. It's easier to cut. Once you have the game changer for me on the iPad was the pen. So once you have the pen, and you could edit anything. It's like I'm cutting everything up. it's even faster than what I know on the computer.
It's amazing to me what people are able to do with an iPad if you know what you're doing.
Oh
So
yeah,
writing
yeah.
and wrenching had a question. You a Mac or a PC guy?
I am a PC guy.
We're
I like
going
the
to
PC.
struggle to get along, Dave. You know that.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, thank God we have the bike that reunites us all. But
I know. That's the Road Glide, everyone. All right, the Road Glide. Forget the Batwing fairing, please.
oh shit, here we go.
Just stir the pot a little bit. Stir it up. You know.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with iMovie. I'm a Mac guy, and I started with iMovie, and then I made the decision when I started doing it for work to go to Premiere Pro because that's what our graphics team used, and that was just a rabbit hole.
Yeah. One of my good friends at work, he used to work in the printing industry, and like you said, like just to learn it. I mean, he just showed me real quick. I mean, he didn't know much Premiere Pro, but like for Photoshop stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like always asking him. It was funny, and he would show me. It was like, I showed you this before. Everything, like the layers, everything. I was like, I can't do this. Then finally one day he goes, you know what? Just get the subscription for Canva. It does the same shit. Stop bothering me. So,
yeah, and it's weird because it's like motorcycles. Everybody has their belief, and sometimes I think it's just what you know. I tried using Final Cut. I downloaded the demo, and I was just like, "What the absolute hell am I doing?" Like, it just didn't make sense to me, and it doesn't mean that it's bad.
Yeah.
It's just so different. Yeah. So Frank's saying it's easy. Well, Frank, you need to come over and teach me because I opened it up and I literally had no idea what I was looking at. I was like,
I
what?
know.
There's no sharpening tools. There's no unsharpened. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. I guess it's what you're used to. I mean, iMovie on, even on like the iPhones and stuff, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are some videos I've done just straight with the iPhone, and like I used the Premiere Pro app that you could cut everything up. But even using like what Apple has to, it's what it's basic stuff, and it's getting a little advanced too. I mean, you could even they even had like you overlays for like subscribe here for stuff. It's pretty crazy what they have, so you don't have to go out and buy unless you want to get crazy into that stuff.
Well, and that's the thing too, is that I learned Premiere because I was challenged with it to learn what our graphics group had, and then only to find out that their idea of video editing was a PowerPoint that was made into an MP4. And you're like,
oh my goodness,
I'm beating my head against the wall every day trying to learn this damn thing, and that's your idea of video content. It's like, come on.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes it's over excessive.
Well, and that's the thing too, right? You can, we're guys, right? Anything we do is going to be this way, but I feel like with YouTube, you can be so far in debt and be nowhere.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just like learning like basic stuff I remember like a lot of lives, you guys, especially the guys from Baggers and Brews, they like, like Peter McKinnon and all them. Who else? Like, once you see them, there was one guy, I forgot what's his name. I paid for his master course just to learn. It was very helpful. Mm-hmm. But like, I forgot who it was. It was so long ago. But anyway, I would say 30% of what he taught me, I only use. Like, they taught you everything how to use Premiere Pro, and it's just like, it's like crazy.
George from Baggers and Brews just bought an R6, which is what I shoot with.
Oh, nice.
And we're shooting in their garage one day, hanging out. And he starts asking me these questions about auto ISO. And I'm like, I don't know. Does it even do that?
Yeah.
I'm like, this. And it's funny because I had the exact same camera for work. And when I left my job, I was like, this is what I want. It's what I know. It's probably overkill, but it's what I know.
Yeah.
and I was like, I didn't even know you could do half this stuff because I was
Yeah.
shooting in a very specific style. And then you take it out of side of a studio and you're like, damn, I didn't know it did all this. Pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for me, that's why I liked the camera stuff. I really got into Sony's interface is kind of wonky. I prefer the Canon one by far. Even Fuji's was so wonky, but I mean, I know the Canon ones now they update a little bit, but it's consistent through what I mean. Like if I picked it up now, I could probably get through it. But the Sony one, that's why I like just learning like street photography. For me, it's like if I did this to this, what would it do it? Like if you do the triangle, the whole triangle, stuff like that. So
that's cool. Do you shoot any video with that with Sony?
With that A7C, I was the only thing I didn't like about it was like the image stabilization isn't as good as I would hoped it would have been. I mean, in Premiere Pro, I can stabilize it, but once you start stabilize it too much, then it becomes wonky. So it's like if it's like talking head, like if I was in my garage and I'm just standing in front of it, yeah, I'd use the Sony. Why not? Because I mean, my garage isn't. It's not my garage. It's my brother's garage. It's not really lit well, so you need as much light coming in, and the GoPro kind of sucks in the dark. Kind of.
Yeah, and it's funny too. Like you can watch all the GoPro ads, and obviously it's going to be the best thing you've ever seen. But
yeah,
I always joke around that like GoPros are great, and then you get a real camera and you put it up next to it, and you're like, what the hell was I thinking?
Yeah. But like for what I do, I just GoPro's fine. Especially if you shoot in the highest resolution, and then like you could always. What I've noticed too is just you could just punch in on the item you're talking about. You won't really lose resolution. You do tend to see the resolution though a little bit less when you do export and put it to the cloud, because obviously they have to try to save space. So it's like it's not really as if you just export it right from camera.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because a lot of people, when I've done it, are shooting 4K content on a 1080p timeline. So you've got four times the amount of data, and you can kind of manipulate that, and you can slide it, and you can do some cool effects with it.
Yeah, definitely. That's the other part of it. And then like you just, for me, it's always just keep it simple. I mean, I like the fact that I could do it, but will I ever try to do it? I'm like, no. For what, like the videos I make, it's just, half the time it's on the bike, half the time it's in the garage. So,
and like you said, I think that's the key, right? If you find something that works for you, it works for you.
Yeah.
I know Road Reality was saying, like the menu system is so different. That's the thing I like about the Canons. This is a M200 here. If I pick up my R6, it's got the same feel. It may not exactly be the same, but I don't feel like you're trying to, you're not trying to speak a different language, which is nice.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean the Sony is the same way too. I mean from camera to camera, it's just too much sometimes. They just throw everything right in the beginning. You're like, well, where am I going to start? Now I got to think. Even just trying to make like shortcuts for yourself. Yeah, the ZV-1 is nice.
Which one?
The Sony ZV-1. Those are real.
Oh
nice.
Yeah, the real small one.
Like the compact ones. I thought about using one of those. I mean, I tried out the I forgot what it is, the RX line. It's the same comparable to the ZV-1. And I was like, for what I'm doing, GoPro's fine. It's just bringing an extra camera. That's what the problem is for me. I feel like if I bring it, I'm like, oh, I'm going to use it. Sometimes you're really not going to.
I thought was it the Sony 6000 series that they had was a pretty cool. I almost bought one of those because I thought it was I know Ty. I don't know if Ty's still in here, but Ty from Tennessee has one, and
Yeah.
the image that comes out of that's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I always steer people towards that. I mean, you don't need the biggest and baddest. Just learn how to use it first, and like I always tell people also like what do you want to like just like your motorcycle. What do you want to like to get into motorcycle? What do you want to do? Off road, on road, long trips, just like the camera. What do you want to use it for? Sports, your kids, kids sports, street photography, portraits. You can get a really basic one and just use it inside of a studio, and people won't even know the difference sometimes. Yeah.
I mean, you see that every day. You go on Instagram and you watch people doing these like cool transitions and stuff, like
Yeah,
with the camera, and you're like, holy smokes! Like,
yeah.
and meanwhile, I'm sitting there with all this gear. I'm like, I don't know how to do that.
yeah. And they're like doing it with like their iPhone.
Yeah, exactly. And it's crazy. I think sometimes it screws with your head because you see it and you're like, damn, how come I can't do that?
Yeah.
So I know you're kind of hard pressed for the hour, and that's no problem. First off, I'm really glad that we had a chance to sit and talk, and we do need to meet up this summer and do some riding together. I think that'd be a blast.
Definitely. Anytime, I mean, it's always my wife is very good to me. She'll let me, as long as I one day or the other, I always try to make a point. And this is one of the first things actually when I first riding, my friend Sean that I still ride with from FedEx, he said to me, pick a day of the weekend. If you're gonna ride that day, you ride that day. But if the other day's free, you better do everything you can with her. Because at least they won't bother, not say bother you, but at least you're spending time with them and not just going out there.
Yeah, I mean it's completely about balance. So
yeah,
like I said, I know you're pressed for time, but what tell everybody where they can find you on social media. Sell me the pen. Just get the pitch.
So most of my stuff is on YouTube and Instagram.
Okay.
And the YouTube is just Hudson Motovisuals, as you see down below there. And Instagram is Hudson_Motovisuals. I do have, like I said, I was revamping my website for photography. So if that one is, if you type in www.hudsonmotovisuals.photos, it's what was that? What's the service I use? I forget. And they'll just bring you to the page, and I have it kind of updated. I mean, the last thing I did was with Robert Simmons, but it's been a while. So,
okay,
yeah. So that's basically where you could find me. It's I do the TikTok, but not too much. Facebook, it's not too much either. I just try to just stick with the one or the other, and and try to grow that way, because it becomes too much after a while. I'm just trying to do it for fun. Along the way, get free shit too. Why not? I mean, or try to. I mean,
That's awesome. So I'm going to put all the links for your social media in the description. Once I actually get to that part. I mean, never mind that we've already done this.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate your time. Is there any? I'd like to give you your final thoughts. It's all yours. Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to thank everyone on the side chat. I really appreciate it. I started this journey 3 years ago. I've been having fun ever since. Every time I, run into people that I know, or even got to ride, all the riding people I ride with today, I met through YouTube, and it's a great community. I know, Bri, you were definitely one of the first people to comment on one of my videos and subscribe. That's awesome. I really appreciate that. And just like you, man, you're not alone in this world. You'll have someone to talk to. It doesn't matter if you feel uncomfortable talking about someone, just do it, because you know what? At the end of the day, you feel a little better. I mean, I like to say use your motorcycle as therapy too, but there's only so much you can do on that. You need to talk to somebody. And it's not, I don't want to say like, oh, go out and cry on the person, but just talk to them, man to man. There's really nothing wrong with that in the world, and people have to start realizing we all go through everything. So there are people that help you. You never know. It could be your coworker, could be your best friend, could be even your daughter, your wife, your brother. Just talk to somebody. Especially, I always like to say, talk to the older generation too, because my father was very quiet when we were growing up. He was a very stoic person, never really talked about much, but there's things going on in his head. So I mean, he kind of likes it. So
I don't even know how to follow that. That's great advice.
Yeah. So yeah, I just want that, and I really appreciate you, man. I really do.
Well, and I appreciate you. This community has touched me in ways I can't even begin to explain. And this is
definitely
this is what I enjoy, because it's it's a chance just to talk.
Yeah, I know it's a lot of. Sometimes it feels like it's a lot of just ball busting and BSing, but there's some of the people I truly know and I ride with, man. They'll jump in front of a bus for me. That's how kind of people that you meet, that I met, and most of the whole community too. We support each other. I mean, if you can't support each other and you're doing this, then why would you do it anyway? So.
Yep. And like I said, on that note, we're done.
All right. Thank you,
Dave. Thank you so much for your
Thank you.
time. I look forward to meeting up and riding this summer.
Yeah, definitely. I'll come down to you guys. Don't worry. I'm not scared to go down.
No,
south here.
we can come up there, But that's good stuff, man. I do appreciate it, guys. About continuing the message, you're not alone. So I know tomorrow Tweedledee's on. I don't know if Monkey's on Friday. My man Denver is on Sunday. Moto Noggin's on Tuesday. So yeah, just take the time to support another fellow creator. We appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely appreciate it. Have a good night, guys.
Good night, everybody. And please remember, you're not alone. Dave, hang out for a second. See you guys.
All right.
See you next week.